What's up, guys? This is Dhwani, and today we have Aakarshan here with us today. What's up, AK?
What's up? What's up, Dhoni? How are you?
All good.
You're hosting me in my own office. That's nice.
I am.
That's nice of you.
Yeah, and how was 2024 for you?
It was good. Overall, as a company, we did way better than we did in 2023, but I believe that probably holds the same for every other real estate brokerage out there. We were almost, I believe we will end 2024 with 2x of what we did 2023.
Oh, lovely.
And team has also grown, not significantly, but slightly. But yeah, I look forward to 2025 and let's see what's
What are we looking at in 2025? What do you think Dubai real estate in general is going to look like in 2025? Is it going to go up, down? You know, there are a lot of talks all around the world actually about what is going to happen in the Dubai real estate market. So can you give us a little bit of idea about this?
So, you know, what's interesting is that since 2022, I have kind of been anticipating or hoping or expecting that the market would correct itself.
Right.
The uptick in the property prices would somehow stabilize themselves. The rentals would, but doesn't seem to happen, right? So my guess is as good as yours. We are all believing that the market is at a high point, that it is meant to adjust, that it is meant to go down. But Dubai market turns to continue to prove us wrong.
Right.
So I think it's very difficult for us to anticipate what's going to happen in 2025, but there are a lot of metrics around which the market has been growing.
True.
There's a lot of population growth in the region.
Exactly. A lot of people are coming in and we do need to factor in that.
Yeah. The golden visa regulations have opened up. That's attracting a lot of investors.
Also tourism.
Tourism, of course. Dubai has always relied heavily on tourism. And this year we've seen a significantly high uptick in tourism.
Right.
If you see hotel occupancy numbers, they've been like they've never been before.
Right.
Dubai is obviously attracting a lot of events as well.
Like?
There was COP, which happened sometime last year. The Gulf food attracts a lot of visitors, as we all know. GITEX is a big exhibition that happens in this particular region that attracts a lot of people. So Dubai is focusing a lot towards gaining traction in terms of tourism linked to sports and such events as well. But the bottom line is that a lot of people are moving to the region, setting up their base in Dubai. So what's different between this market now and this market back, I would say 10 years back, is that a lot of people used to invest into Dubai, so the money was flowing in, but not necessarily the people were flowing in.
Right.
So if they used to see any kind of downturn in the region, they would back out or they would take their money out and then reinvest it elsewhere. This time, what we're seeing differently is that money is flowing in and people are also coming in.
Right, correct.
And you see that across the board, right?
Yeah, and it's for different reasons. I mean, you know, some people are moving for education. There's some moving for jobs, business opportunities. Some are just moving purely for the lifestyle, to have a better lifestyle, more safety. So there are ample number of reasons that are contributing to this factor. Yeah,
so I think 2025 probably has a positive outlook in mind.
Right.
We are still looking at transaction flow remaining.
More people coming in.
More people coming in, rentals increasing, price increasing. Another thing, I met someone last week and they're in the contracting business and they told me something interesting, which I actually didn't think about. And it puts things in perspective. Is what they've said is that while so many developers have come into this region and launched projects, in 2024, I believe there were close to 340 or 350 projects launched. That's a project a day.
Wow.
So that means a lot of people have launched projects, but the contracting capability, there are only so many contractors in the market, right? There's only so much equipment in the market, right? The contracting capabilities have not expanded at the level at which the developers have come in. So what that means is while contracts are being given, but not everyone will be able to sort of
deliver on time.
Yes and no, or perhaps the contracts that are being taken for a shorter duration of time will be taken for a longer duration of delivery timeline.
Oh.
So what that means is while the launches are happening at a certain pace because the investors are there, but the contracting magnitude is limited.
Right.
So hence, yes, while the launches are happening, the deliveries are still going to be controlled up to a certain level that the market is going to be able to sort of absorb. So oversupply is the biggest concern that has always been there in Dubai, right? I think we are not too concerned about that right
I
now.
was going to get to that. So oversupply, is it a reality or is it a myth? Because a lot of people do say that, okay, there's so many project launches, so many apartments. Are these apartments going to get occupied with time? So what is the scenario? What's your take on this?
So I think you have to look at it at a very deep level. You can't look at it like that. That's the facade of it, right? Like, is there oversupply or not? If you dig into it at a very deep level, is that in order to look at the Dubai's population growth plan over the next 10 to 15 odd years, if you look at the Dubai master plan, they're looking at intake of roughly about anywhere between 30 to 35,000 units on a per annum basis. It's what's required to cope up with the population growth. The current deliveries that are happening in the market, or that have been happening in the market over the last 3 years, are averaging around this 26 to 33,000. Over the next 2 to 3 years, because of the launches that have happened in the last 1.5 years, the potential deliveries like in 2026 and 2027 could go up to that level of 60, 65 or 70,000.
Almost double of what
we have right now. But again, like I said, because of the contracting capabilities, those numbers are actually not going to be met. Right? So we are potentially going to still look at deliveries of about 40,000.
Okay.
But there's another element to consider, is that all this attention is going towards oversupply linked to people coming into the region. But because we are also heavily into property management, what we notice is that a lot of our apartments, it's not necessarily being occupied by people new to Dubai.
Right.
There's a lot of internal movement as well, right?
Yeah.
Like, there are two examples to look at it. A lot of times we see that when the Dubai rents are falling or at a low level, you'll see a lot of influx coming in from Sharjah, Ajman, as far as Alain or Abu Dhabi region, because a lot of people working in Dubai might be staying in the outskirts of these regions.
Right.
Now, if they see that the rentals are at an attractive level, they will come back and rent new properties in Dubai.
True, absolutely.
That's one element of it. Second element of it is Dubai is a region which attracts a lot of new talent, right? So a lot of people come to Dubai as individuals for a better life, for more income. They come as individuals and they might move into a studio. They start to earn income. They generate some money. They upgrade their lifestyle maybe to a 1-bedroom. They then get, sorry, I just hit the mic.
That's okay.
They then get their families over from whichever country they're flowing from.
Yeah.
And then they upgrade to maybe a 1 to a 2-bedroom. So that keeps on happening.
Relatable.
You see, there you go.
That's how most people and me, that's how we started. So
that's what you did, right? You came into a studio.
Yeah. I feel like you really need to be sure as to if this place is for you. And a lot of people have started feeling very familiar. They've started finding Dubai like home, like an ideal home for them. So they come here, they do their trial and errors, they try to figure out whether or not it's for them. Then they slowly bring in their family and they start like stepping deeper into the place. So that's very natural.
And the lifestyle that Dubai offers today, I think it's unmatched compared to some parts of the world which have probably been offering that lifestyle for more than 50 odd years. You don't get that quality of service. You don't get that safety. You don't get that accessibility.
Exactly.
You just don't get that in a lot of parts of the world.
Especially with the casino coming in at Ras Al Khaimah.
That's an absolute
There's nothing that you don't have in Dubai anymore.
Nothing. That's an absolute game changer. And who would have thought, right?
Yeah.
So, the progress in this region is absolutely real. The commitment to progress is immense, and this is what's attracting most of the talent around the world. It's a lifestyle that everyone wants to be a part of.
Exactly.
So I think because of that, I would say probably happy days ahead.
Yeah. Great, awesome. So there's one other really important question that I know the answer to, but I really feel like we should talk about, because this is this is about the security of somebody who's investing into Dubai real estate. And if somebody wants to know how safe is it to buy off-plan properties in Dubai today as compared to what it was back in, I would say, 2007 or 8?
I think you know the answer to that question. That's
I know the answer to that question, but
to the timeline of framing that question.
I repeat it all day long, but I feel like we should have an elaborate discussion, especially coming from you with experience, because you've seen the entire rise and fall of the real estate market here. So I would really like to hear it from you as to what your take is now today on off-plan properties in Dubai.
So I'd say the safety element is not now, actually. It's what's been there for the last 10 odd years.
Okay.
And I think the one word that best describes that answer is escrow.
Right.
It's an initiative launched by Dubai Land Department and RERA, which is the Real Estate Regulatory Authority of this region, wherein a developer that's selling any kind of property which is off-plan, number one, has to have the land fully paid up under his or her name.
Okay.
Number two is ought to have either a 20% bank guarantee or completion of 20% construction of the project to start sales of that particular project. In order to start the sales, the developer has to get an escrow account set up with one of the local banks in this region. And any buyer that's buying the property, all their funds, be it deposit, be it your down payment, be it your further payment schedules, are all going into that escrow account.
Correct.
And that escrow account is in a way monitored by RERA. When I say monitored by RERA, what it means is that the outflow of funds from that particular escrow account can be done only and only for the purposes of construction of the project to which the escrow account is linked.
As they should be.
As they should be. And this wasn't the case before, right?
Right.
In most of the regions, in fact, not just UAE, most of the regions.
Yeah, we've seen that in other countries as well.
Yeah, so developers were able to accept money into corporate account. And I would say even the developers who don't have any bad intention, they just mismanage the funds by displacing them into other projects or other land bank acquisitions because the market was doing so well. And that's where the projects started to get stuck, because where buyers could not make future payments.
There is a system in place for off-plan projects.
Yeah, so basically if a buyer is buying a property, all their money is going towards the construction of the project. And if in the worst case scenario, the developer is to go bankrupt or unable to complete the project for any given reason, XYZ, RERA will have the ability to come and put another developer in their place. And the project construction can go as planned because the funds are in escrow.
Right.
That ought to be used for that project. It's not just that. Even for a developer to realize profits, they're not able to remove it from the escrow account immediately after handover.
Okay.
They have to wait for a year after handover, cover any kind of defect liability period, in order to withdraw funds from that account, even as their profit.
All right.
So that has really changed the game. In fact, India introduced RERA, an escrow mechanism, after UAE introduced it, right?
Yeah.
So they followed suit. And I think that is an element which has really
been a game changer.
Absolutely.
For sure.
And you can see that in the number of projects that got stalled leading up to the time this was introduced. And you can see the number of projects that got stalled post that.
I don't even hear about anything like that anymore. Like a project is stalled.
Yeah, there aren't any. And even if there are, there is a court procedure to get it either auctioned off or to get a new developer come in place and continue the construction of it. And you're seeing that around you. There's so many projects that are being sold today, which at one point of time were stalled, right? So the government is very proactive in terms of taking up these projects. So yeah, off-plan investment today, a lot of people say that. It's a different thing where you overexpose yourself or you buy high or you buy the wrong product. That's all different ballgame.
Right.
People should not confuse bad investment decision towards bad governance.
Right.
What the region and the authorities can do is bring about good governance, but investment decisions still ought to be made by the investor or whoever is guiding them.
Yeah.
So correct. Yeah, escrow.
Absolutely. And I feel like a lot of other things that we need to factor in is also, I would say, the processes that have been put in place by the developer is also become, and I mean, it's become so much more easier for an international investor to invest into this market. Obviously, the payment plans have become easier. We hear about the 1% payment plans, 2% payment plans, post handover payment.
0.5. I'm seeing 0.5% payment plans now.
Really?
Imagine that. Yeah, 1% is like
wow. We're going to discuss that. But it's so interesting. You've got post handover payment plans on ready properties. And the ease of getting mortgages as well in Dubai is something else. I feel like it's just the ease of living here. I mean, Dubai spoils you to a level where you cannot live anywhere else after being here.
Oh, yeah, true.
For a while.
Especially you mentioned earlier about off-plan properties. People are buying properties in Dubai without even visiting Dubai.
Exactly.
You know, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it's just few documents signed online, money transferred to the escrow account, and tada, you're all done.
Exactly. So it's quite surprising how the transactions are taking place here. There's a lot more trust in the developers, in the RERA as well. So I feel like it's taken a good pace now. So let's move on to my next question for you. And I really want to do a slight comparison between, new projects coming up and new investments coming up. And I know I'll be comparing two completely different locations right now. But what's your take on Dubai Islands right now? And what's your take on Palm Jebel Ali? So these are two completely different products, I know, but the way they both are growing and the way, two different segments of clients are wanting to sort of invest. So what is the difference between the two, and what are these two exactly?
So both are actually very interesting projects. So Dubai Islands and Palm Jebel Ali and Palm Jumeirah were actually launched at the same time.
Right, all by Nakheel.
All by Nakheel,
yes.
Yeah. Palm Jumeirah is obviously, as we all know, is probably the
iconic,
one of the wonders of the world, right?
Yes.
That is fully developed. So now all the attention and focus is towards Dubai Islands, previously called Palm Dera, and Palm Jebel Ali.
Right.
Both of them, the land has been completely reclaimed. In fact, Dubai Islands has 3 operational hotels, has a shopping mall which started construction but currently stopped. We're waiting to see exactly what's going to happen with that. An entire market which is going under redevelopment. One highway already in place, another one sanctioned by RTA, and another highway to come in the future. And of course, we all know that it's a prime location, which is so close to your non-freehold communities, such as your Dera, your Bardubai, your Karama, your Meena Bazaar. And these are communities which have established businesses, right? Look at Dera, gold market.
Yes.
Established for the last 30, 35 years. Some of the biggest gold and diamond business operators are there.
Right.
Meena Bazaar, a huge textiles market.
Yeah.
Been established for the last 30, 35, 40 odd years. Again, Dera, huge spices market, right?
Yeah.
Again, Bardubai, electronic market. So huge areas where people have been working out of for the last 35, 40 odd years.
Exactly.
Where you cannot buy.
They have their businesses there.
They have their businesses there. You cannot buy there, right? They're not freehold. They're for GCC only.
Right.
So if people are living in that area, chances are they're probably renting something. So Dubai Islands is a big market to capture that audience. In fact, what's interesting about Dubai Islands, I'll talk about Dubai Islands first, is what's interesting about it is I started concentrating on Dubai Islands sometime, I think in September of 2023.
Right.
And that's when I was, in fact, guiding some of my investors to purchase land over there. Because I felt like with the land prices that have gone up in Dubai and various other communities, a land value back in the days of around 185 dirhams a square foot in Dubai Island, with a payment plan, being on water was something which was unmatched and, in fact, being overlooked by a lot of people. Today, that same land is probably valued at around a rate of 400, 450.
Okay.
That's more than 2.5x growth in just about a year.
Exactly.
More than 2.5 times growth in just about a year's time now. The amount of project launches that have happened in Dubai Island over the last 6 months, we've seen that, right? Like, we're seeing project launches from about 1,800 dirhams a square foot all the way to 3,000 dirhams a square foot. So again, I mean, I feel that area requires, of course, a lot of development, infra development, community development. Dubai Islands, by the way, is one of the probably the only beaches I've heard of which is termed as a dog beach.
Oh, really?
Yeah, dogs are allowed at that beach. Maybe there are more, I don't know, but it's quite famous in Dubai.
Are cats allowed?
I don't know. Something you'll have to check. I don't think you can have a beach where both dogs and cats are
Yeah,
allowed.
I know. It's
That'll
gonna
be
be
an interesting one.
yeah. But then again, what's your take on Palm Jebel Ali?
Destination for the future.
Really?
But see, Palm Jebel Ali is two times the size of Palm Jumeirah. Obviously, Palm Jumeirah, when it was launched, the land was not yet reclaimed. So the project was launched first, then the land was reclaimed, then the project was complete, right? Palm Jebel Ali land has already been reclaimed. So contracts have already been awarded for the villa development, some of the fronts, as we all know. Most of the villas in the fronts that have been launched have already been sold. They're even selling plots wherein you can build your own villa. So there are a lot of things that been done with Palm Jebel Ali, which have obviously been sort of a learning element with Palm Jumeirah. For example, Palm Jumeirah has one entrance only.
Yeah.
Into entire Palm Jumeirah, there's only one access in and out, right? With Palm Jebel Ali, they're going for 3 accesses. One is going from the main, I don't know what you call it, the main entrance to the
the main entrance. Yeah.
Then there are accesses going from both sides of
the crescents.
The crescents.
Yes.
I always confuse myself with the terminology there. But yeah, there is a main access in the middle and there are 2 accesses on either side.
Which is going to make things so much easier because some of the developments towards the end of the crescent were actually having to travel all the way up to the palm and then to the crescent towards the end.
Yeah.
And now having 3 entrances is also going to ease out the traffic a little bit, I feel.
Exactly.
But something which is like really different about, I feel like now about Dubai real estate market is that people are not giving up.
Yeah.
You know, they're just going ahead and they're not stopping. It's become unstoppable. They don't care what's going on the side, whether the mall is happening, it's not happening. People are going ahead with the construction. People have a lot of faith now.
I think it's also anticipation and expectation of growth of future value.
Right.
So going back on Palm Jebel Ali, for example, another very interesting thing that's being done in Palm Jebel Ali is the distance between the 2 fronts. In Palm Jumeirah, that distance between the 2 fronts
wasn't that much.
It wasn't that much. I believe maybe 30 meters. Maybe I'm wrong.
That's the minimum you're talking about?
Yeah, the minimum.
Yeah.
Right now, we're looking at maybe up to 100 meters between the 2 fronts. Okay?
Wow. That's the minimum.
That's the minimum. That's a massive distance between the 2 fronts.
So you actually get the experience of
the entire
being on water.
Also, when Palm Jumeirah was built, a lot of it was sort of, you could say, contemporary architecture. Right now, they're going a lot towards modern architecture.
Okay.
So you'll see a lot of floor-to-ceiling glass windows. You'll see a lot of light colors there.
Yeah.
So it's getting a very different kind of a vibe to what Palm Jumeirah was.
Right.
They're being very selective in terms of the land plots also, and they will only give it to hotels that they would want to qualify to be able to enter a segment like Palm Jebel Ali. So yes, it is going to take, I would say, the next 10 to 15 years to develop, or maybe even 20. But it is going to be launched in phases, and obviously all the early entrants will be the one who will be benefiting.
Yeah.
I mean, if you look at a price per square footage comparison, the same amount, the same price per square footage in Palm Jebel Ali would be roughly about, I would say, 45% lower than what Palm Jumeirah is at today.
Right.
So that's the margin that a lot of early investors are sort of banking on.
Right.
Completed Palm Jumeirah villas today, entry point would be, I would say, 5,500 to 6,000 dirhams a square foot.
Yes.
Palm Jebel Ali entry point today might be 2,300 to 2,800 dirhams a square foot. So there's a bigger gap than even 45%.
So much cheaper than Bombay or like some of the... like imagine living on water. And
with your own private beach.
With your own private beach. And
with the best of the restaurants, with the best of the hotels, the best of the facilities in the world. Your neighbor could be the founder of $1 billion firm based out of Europe.
Right.
Your neighbor could be a Hollywood celebrity,
Yeah.
So,
when I think about it, it's a lot more cheaper than, or I would rather say a fairly valued real estate market.
Oh, yeah.
As compared to most of the major metro cities.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. And with new construction.
With the
latest quality of construction, with all of those elements into place.
Yes.
And the tax-free regime, still, real estate is a tax-free regime over here.
I hope
And,
it stays like that.
Oh yeah, I think so. Well,
It should.
none of us can say anything on that.
Yeah.
But yeah, let's hope so. You're right. I hope so. So yeah, I think both of them very interesting projects. Look, you can't duplicate too many projects on the water.
Right.
Yes, land parcel is ample. You can build something on land. Forget that. Even the projects that are being made on land today are being made with the idea of a lagoon inside it, water body inside it. Why? Because developers realize the significance of having water facilities in a community, right?
Yeah.
When you have that on a natural water body, you have it on the sea. I think that's an opportunity that's unmatched. So I think there is huge potential in areas like Dubai Islands, Palm Jebel Ali.
Yes, and when we do a general comparison of other cities and taking the land parcels into consideration, they have sort of reached their limit, which is why their real estate is growing.
Yeah, that's true.
Because there's no more land parcel to come in with anything new.
True.
Dubai has that advantage to sort of, they've already achieved I would say, the recognition for being one of the hot spots in terms of tourism and to live and safety and all of that. Secondly, other advantage is that they have a lot of land parcels, so they can cater to the kind of clientele that is coming into Dubai. And thirdly, they are able to sort of give, because of the space that they have, they're sort of able to give the kind of amenities that you'll probably not see in any part of the world. Because this is so unique. You have a lagoon within the community. You have a kayaking in some communities that are coming up. You've got an underwater restaurant. I mean, it's like a lot of holiday destinations or like island. It's like a vacation in itself.
It's unreal.
It's like a lot of cities and countries put together is what they're sort of trying to curate, and they have the space and time and money to do that.
I think it's a lot of facilities that even the people living in that community might not even end up using, might not get the time to use, but it's good to have.
It's worth their money, right?
Yeah.
It's a fairly valued market. Plus, you're getting so much. I just there was this recent launch by DAMAC where they're going to have these aromatherapy lakes.
Oh wow!
So they're coming up with this kind of launch, which is sort of like a recreational project. So people who are, I would say, who are peace loving, or who want to sort of be in a zone where they want to stay in a place which is more recreational, which feels like a resort. It's perfect for them. There is another launch which is DAMAC Islands, of course. That is so ideal for like families with kids growing up. There's so much to do within the community that I'm not sure whether people would also want to like explore much outside.
Yeah, that's true. Interesting you mentioned DAMAC Islands. I just got a message from one of my team members who was at the launch. And the last number I saw, I'm sure it's changed now, but the last number had a sales value of today at 9.84 billion dirhams.
No
That's a
way.
9.84 billion dirhams of stock that has been sold in a day in a launch. It's close to $2.75 billion.
Oh my goodness.
In a single development.
And guess what? And I got a call from DAMAC saying that this was just a trailer. We've got more crazy things coming in 2025. And I'm like, you guys are unstoppable. And that's what I said. Nobody's ready to put a stop to anything. Nobody's ready to believe or even begin to believe that this market is going to sort of dip, which I feel it won't because of the kind of people that are coming in.
Building, planning, going ahead with it. And they're selling. Investors are coming. Buyers are coming. Resales are happening. Communities are being handed over.
Correct.
People are moving in. Rents are going up.
And what's your take on the new airport? And how much more time do you think is it going to take for it to like? I know it's already operational. It's a ready airport, and it's just that the entire transition of the flights and I would say the renovations from the existing airport to Al Maktoum Airport.
So I think it's a very interesting project, of course, to shift the entire operations of Dubai International Airport to Maktoum International Airport. It's a huge land parcel. I think that's one of the main reasons to opt for that, because the development and the growth of the airlines industry and the airport that we see in Dubai that's the ideal location that's suited for it. So in fact, I took the flight to watch one of the matches during the FIFA World Cup from Maktoum International Airport, and that was, I think, in November of 2022, 2 years ago.
What are some of the airlines that are operating from Al Maktoum Airport?
Well, I remember we flew Fly Dubai. So back then that was operating. But currently there are a lot of other airlines that are flying into that particular airport. I don't know, to be honest, which ones they would be, but there are many other airlines that are flying into that particular airport. So Maktoum International Airport, per se, as an entire development, I would say would probably require another 10 odd years, because Emirates is making a $2 billion engineering facility over there, right?
Oh, really?
So it's good for consolidation, because you see Emirates staff, for example, lives in various different locations. The engineers are operating out of a different office, having a different accommodation. Mm-hmm. Even the cabin crew are segmented across different areas of Dubai. But if all the operations are from Maktoum International Airport, all the engineering facilities are in Maktoum International Airport, all the airlines are operating from there, I guess they can consolidate all their staff close to that particular area. And I think that itself will give a big boost to all the residential development around, because now you're talking about having high quality buyers, for example, staff working in, for example, any of the airlines, engineers in these airlines. They're on high paying jobs, right? So you have excellent buyers to buy your property on resale, or you have very high quality tenants wherein a lot of their rentals are being paid by the company. So very limited default rates, apartments well taken care of. So I think that's the whole game plan around that residential segment. Another important element that we cannot ignore is a logistics facility. That's another big game changer that they're facing, or that they're planning towards that side, right?
Like there are a lot of warehouses around.
Oh, massive. Like, I mean, the demand is so high.
Some of the biggest brands.
Some of the biggest brands already there, and the demand is so high that it's quite difficult to actually get a piece of land to build a warehouse for in areas like DIP, Dubai Techno Park, Dubai Logistics Park, Dubai Industrial City. So, there's an entire ecosystem that people don't realize comes around this airport of that particular magnitude. And that ecosystem requires a large amount of people to be a part of it. And hence, the residential sort of community around is developing. And also, if you look at it, any other metropolitan city in the world, you'll very rarely find airport being in the center of a city. It's always about, people say, right, but it's quite far. You pick any metropolitan city in the world, airport is generally speaking about 30, 35, 40, 45 minutes away from downtown. Generally speaking, right? Because you get a larger land parcel over there.
Right. Even Singapore. Or like, London maybe.
Take Heathrow, for example, right? So you do find that, so I think their planning is at a very large scale. Dubai South is an area to look out for. Already, it's a very well-established community. You see a lot of tenants staying in Dubai South, working in areas like JLT and Dubai Marina.
Of course, the new developments around the location, Emaar, has really stepped into.
I mean, Emaar entered Dubai South probably 5 or 6 years ago.
Yeah,
maybe more than
close
that.
To handover now.
Yeah, I mean, there's an 18-hole golf course there, right?
Yeah.
That Emaar as a developer would not enter a community
if they did not have faith.
Exactly, not seeing a potential of that, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it's like saying you want to invest it into a stock, and if, for example, one of the top investment firms in the world, like a JP Morgan, has done its vetting on that particular stock, there's only so much research you can do, which trumps what they've already done an R&D for, right?
Yes.
So I think it's a very interesting location for the future.
Right. So moving on to the next question, which is also going to be the final question, is what do you think about the new branded residences that are being launched in the market? So we see a lot of them coming in. So let's talk about Mercedes-Benz, Jacob & Co. residences, Burj Bengati. Then you have Frank Muller residences coming in. We've got Fairmont residences coming in, which is also, a line of hotels, but is also stepping into this segment.
Mm.
Then a lot of, I would say, developers are coming up with their own ideas and their own branded residences. Like maybe somewhere trying to do something like the Palace or Vida, or I would say Address. So what do you think on those lines in terms of branded residences? What do you think the future of these branded residences are? What is the kind of clientele that you feel should, sort of invest into branded residences, and what is the growth of these branded residences? Because obviously there's so many right now. Let's not forget Bugatti, Bugatti by Bengati, where Neymar bought a 200 million dirham penthouse. So
I think you just forgot 10.
Yeah, 10. There's so many numbers going on in my head right now. But what do you think is the growth of, like, what is going to go beyond 200 million?
It's a difficult question to answer. A lot can go beyond 200 million, that's for sure. But you see, I think this brand residence market has really picked up in the last 2.5, 3 years. I don't think pre-COVID we did have brand residence, of course. Address has been around for quite some time.
And it's doing so well.
And it's doing so well. You're right, exactly. It's only in the last 2.5, 3 years where the branded residence market has really picked up. And to be fair, if you look at the numbers, they do command a premium when they go to the resale market, and they also do command a certain premium when they go on the rental market. So it's not that obviously when the buyer is buying a branded residence compared to unbranded residence, they are paying a premium on it. But they're also recuperating that when they do go out to resell it, or they do go out to rent it. They are generating a higher return on it, right? But obviously, branded residence for the sake of brand residence, is that going to work or not? Difficult to say. But I feel branded residence wherein it's a very unique proposition. It could be perhaps one of the only ones in the Middle East, or perhaps one of the only ones in the world, and nothing like it. And there are some of them.
Yeah, of course.
As the names you've taken.
Yeah, mostly
in Dubai.
Like, I feel 80-90% of them are the only ones.
They're the only ones of its kind, right? So they are definitely going to hold and retain a lot of value.
Especially if they have that touch of the brand to it. Like that, and not on a basic level, that extreme level of, I would say, touches to the finishing of the
a design element of it, some kind of architectural element to it, some kind of technological element to it. I don't know, there could be so many different elements that
like
can
when
be
you look at
inputted.
Mercedes-Benz place in downtown, and when you look at the design, they've got this entire solar panel sort of a thing with the Mercedes logo that's going to, like, they're going to have a lot of colors going up and down, and a lot of, like, I would say, light work going on behind it, which is so unique.
Yeah, if you look at the design of the project, it's beautiful.
Right.
Just look at it, it's beautiful.
It is, yeah.
So I think brand residences, depending on the input of the brand, I think, yes, they are working quite well. A lot of investors into them are actually, I would not say fans of brands, but those people linked very close to that brand.
Yeah.
Like a lot of Mercedes residence buyers are people who own Mercedes. For example, Bugatti residences, your apartments might start from 18 million. Cost of a Bugatti car is around the same.
Exactly.
If you can buy a car at 18 mil, I don't think you're going to think twice about buying a piece of real estate for the same amount
18,
in a project which is as close to downtown as it can be.
Correct. And take your car up to your house in a car elevator.
So
which is so cool.
Yeah,
which is so, like, it's so conceptish.
Yeah,
so Pinterest.
I don't know if it's practical, but it's something nice to boast about, right? Like to have guests over and be like, yeah, look, my car.
A lot of people have done that. Like, they've taken their cars that they don't use anymore or that are damaged. They would just remove their engines. And I have seen this. They would just take it up to their penthouse. And I've seen this in, New York. A lot. Like, a lot of people just keep their car or hang it upside down like a chandelier. It's a thing. And Dubai is all about brands, cars, and the flashy aspects of it.
People have interesting choices. Huh?
They do.
But no, I think brand residences has the right future, especially if you look at brand residences, for example, linked to a hotel brand. I see a lot of buyers who are buying it are the ones who do avail some kind of benefit from it. Like, for example, you buy into a certain brand residences of a large name brand out there.
Yeah, like for example, a dress also. So you get like certain memberships.
Exactly. You travel the world and you want to book something, you get a platinum or a diamond or a titanium membership.
Right.
So, and at the same time, you get the property to be in a hotel pool, which generates you income. It allows you to utilize it for a certain number of days of the year. So I think there are a lot of benefits towards brand residences, and obviously, if chosen wisely and in the right community and with the right finishing, I think brand residences do avail you a premium when you go out to resell it in the market.
Right.
And also another element to it is when that kind of brand name is associated with it, the maintenance, the management, the upkeep of the property is well taken care of. And I think that's very important.
Yeah, but that's like a general practice in Dubai. So I wouldn't be surprised if it's like very, very nice in some other places. So obviously, Bengati with their launch with Trillionaire, which is their own branded residence. Trillionaire itself gives out, it speaks volumes with the name itself. Like, it is a very high-end residence. So with that, the fact that they introduce that, you're going to have like on-call chauffeurs, you're going to have concierge services, you can also hire a butler from obviously their from the services that are going to be provided within the building or the community or whatever. So all of this just contributes a lot to the services that they're providing overall, and it's enhancing the significance of these places.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I think you're right. That's a very good point you just made about the facilities and the services.
Apart from the design, of course, which is spectacular, it is also the services that are being provided with it, because everybody is trying to bring in hospitality with their development.
100%, yeah, and matters 100%.
It does make a difference. So it's been great. This was a fun conversation with you, and it went exactly the way I wanted it to, with covering most of the things that we get asked very frequently, and I think we've covered most of it. But if you feel like there's something that we've missed out on, you can ask us questions in the comments, and we'll get back to you.
I think it was a really exciting conversation, and I think the points that we touched upon are also something that a lot of people do ask me personally as well.
Yeah.
And it's nice to share that with everyone out there. So, but yeah, I think it was fun. We should probably do more of these, and look forward to our next conversation.
Yes. Thank you so much. Thank you, AK.
Thank you, Zvani.
Thanks for coming.